You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
No Tyler Yaremchuk today. He's doing something the Dallas Stars will be doing on Monday. He's golfing. Let's get into it with the lead. Oh, Sean's been here for 2 seconds and he's breaking our studio. Oh, that is wow.
Which one was it? Oh, it's Tyler.
A great start today.
This is not good. Welcome.
That's what he gets for leaving.
Yeah, for not coming in. Welcome everybody to Oilers Nation Everyday, and welcome to the Sports Closet Studio. 3 locations there, and where are they?
Kingsway, Sherwood Park, St. Albert.
Bingo, bango, bongo. How you doing, Sean?
Good. How are you guys?
I'm good. I am. These shows, whenever I get on them right away, I'm like, I am ready to go. And then the show starts, and I think, damn, I'm not as prepared as I thought I was going to be. I know you're breaking everything, but hopefully the only thing breaking later on today will be Dallas Stars hearts when the Oilers go into the, what is the arena called, Aaron? I'm putting you right.
American Airlines?
American Airlines. Do you know have you ever been there, Sean?
I have never been. How was it?
It was actually great.
Yeah.
They have planes everywhere. It is very much a hotel.
What about all that AI stuff and robots? What about
that is an absolute disaster, if I have to be completely honest. So they have this, like, I don't know if they show this on the TV or if they have or not. They have this guy. Have you ever seen that really shitty Fantastic Four movie?
Rise of the Silver Surfer?
No.
The next generation.
That's one of the hits. The new one with like Miles Teller and what's the other guy's name? Caramel?
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
So they have this Doctor Doom guy who doesn't look like, you know, what you would think Doctor Doom looks like. So basically the Doctor Doom falls into this pit and he just gets all this metal stuck to him. And that is essentially what their mascot now looks like in Dallas. And it is an absolute disaster down there. So anyway, that's what's going on in Dallas. You got airplane. Yes. Fantastic 4-stick. Absolutely terrible. So good. They never made a second one. But either way, Sean, the Oilers are going into game 5 tonight. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. Generally, you don't carry momentum from game to game, but I think tonight they're going to because the last 2 teams to score first lost the games. I think both teams are going to learn from that, and the Oilers are going to come out with a full 60 minutes.
There was actually, it's funny you say that because I'm glad you read the script today that I sent you later on, because later on in the show, I do have some stuff on who's the scoring first and where each team ranked in the regular season, thanks to Jason Gregor's game notes. But the Oilers are obviously 1-1 so far in this playoffs in game 5. They beat the LA Kings in game 5 in what was an easier series, I guess you could say, in comparison to what they've faced so far. Vancouver, I think that game 5 against Vancouver might be their worst game of the playoffs.
Which one was that?
That was the one where JT Miller scored really late into the game. It was like 30 seconds left. They just like literally
didn't. Second game.
Yeah, that was it. Pickett's second game. Pickett's was really good. They just basically had nothing for the entire game. They had that little bit in the first period and then just had absolutely nothing else going into. But you mentioned momentum game to game.
Right.
The only time I think we've seen that this season from this playoff season from Edmonton is probably game 6 and 7 against the Vancouver Canucks. And in game 6, that was a dominant home win. And then you go into game 7 and the Oilers basically controlled that entire game for 52 minutes. Like everyone talks about, you need 60 minutes. I think people need to realize that is probably the most difficult thing to do in the NHL. And the fact the Oilers have 2 of their, what is this now? 6 games, they've played 50 strong minutes, I think gives a lot of optimism going into this tonight.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think a key to the game tonight would be don't give up too early goals and try to claw your way back. But
why do you say? What are you talking about?
I don't know. I think
it's working out for whoever does it.
For either team, the key to victory might be allowing 2 quick goals and then going from there. But is there something that you saw in that game 4 that is giving you more belief going into game 5? Because I think it's very fair to say the gentleman who uses this in this, Tyler, in game 3, he was very down and out after what happened. The Oilers weren't very good on home ice, especially just that 12-minute period. But I think when you look at that game as a whole, there was probably a few more positives to take away from it than people give it credit for.
Absolutely. I think all, maybe aside from the third line last game, all the lines were rolling. I think it started, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the Oilers only had one shot on net by the 10-minute mark.
Yeah.
And do you know what line got that game going?
I'm going to assume the fourth line.
No, it was line 2.
Corey Perry.
Really?
It was
Yeah.
it was a sustained pressure by that second line.
And there was like a TV timeout right
Yeah.
after, and the
Yeah.
tide completely turned.
Yeah, it was like McLeod fed Perry in the slot, and then everything started changing after that.
What did you think? I know we're going back to game 4 quite a lot, but I'm curious your thoughts on it. What did you think of the idea of playing Corey Perry there? And then also how it was executed throughout? Because I think one thing too, like towards the end of the game, Dylan Holloway got more time with Draisaitl and McLeod. But for the bulk of it was McLeod, Draisaitl, and Perry that did really well.
Heading into that game and I saw that lineup, I thought it reeked of desperation. And in my group messages, I'm like, this is going to be all or nothing. And credit to them, they brought it. With Corey Perry, actually, I think about this. I wrote an article down the stretch. He's going to will his team to a win and do whatever it takes. He was mucking it up. He was getting gloves in people's faces, fighting, even arguing with Kane on the bench. And I thought, if this is the Corey Perry that we're getting down the stretch, I can't wait to see what he's bringing in the playoffs. But I think maybe he just kind of ran out of gas because that little break, he looked really good, extremely effective, and overall, really good.
He's in hockey terms. I would like to clarify that because my friend Devon, who is a young man at heart, is around Derek Ryan's age, I think. And he didn't like the other day that I said was Derek Ryan was 35 years old. He can't play every night. So, Devon, I'm sorry. But in hockey terms, Corey Perry is an old man. He turned 39 in his playoffs. Like,
that's borderline decrepit.
Yeah, it should have been pretty much expected that this was going to happen. But like you said, you look at that game, he played 11 minutes with Draisaitl and McLeod at 5-on-5. And they outshot their opponents 6-1 and got the 1 goal for, of course. And that was because the redemption goal, we called it on the game with Nurse, McLeod, and Perry all combining. But like it was Nurse drives the net, kind of throws a bit fortunate, I think you could say, with Suter going down the way he did. But Perry gets in there and then McLeod comes in, and everyone's been clamoring for McLeod to be more physical is an easy way to do it. Just go to the dirty areas.
Stand in front of the net.
Show some commitment to wanting to play some playoff hockey. Yeah. And then he finally did it. Like, how are you feeling about Ryan McLeod right now? And the other question I'll ask you about that too. Is he a better winger than a centerman, or does he just play with Leon Draisaitl?
Just to talk about that goal that he scored, the patience he had to kind of even drag it and then roof it, like a guy coming off all this pressure, you're just probably going to want to hack at it, but he dragged it, pulled it, he had poise. Overall, I like him as a winger over a center. And I kind of feel like it's kind of like the Nuge effect. When Nuge was like younger in his rookie season, he had all this offense, but he dialed it back and focused on defense. Kind of the same thing with Ryan McLeod. When he's playing center, he's focusing on the defense, and he's just, and flat out, he had made really good plays. I think he plays really well with Draisaitl.
I did too, and I think I'd be very curious to see him without Draisaitl as a winger to see what he really is there, but also. That just seems like a great recipe for success. And I know we've seen Kane and Holloway do really well with Draisaitl during this playoffs, during this little stretch here, but I do think that magic kind of faded a little bit. My next question before we get into the lineup report, because it is very, very much the same lineup, one change by the Oilers, which we'll get into. What kind of leash would you give a Corey Perry tonight? You're going into Dallas. On home ice, you get the advantage, of course, of the change and giving him the best matchup you can possibly get. But how much would you play him there, I guess is my point. I think another layer of it, too, is Brown and Yaremchuk have played so well on the fourth line.
True.
You almost don't want to break those guys up.
True. I would give him the game tonight to see how he does. He was extremely effective, albeit slower boots. I remember there's one play in the third period last game. He, whenever Draisaitl's wingers gain the zone, the 100% play is always a drop pass to him. Corey Perry in his slow boots, Leon Draisaitl was behind him. He just like, no, I'm rapid this around rather slowly. So I think you got to give him that chance. However, the leash is short moving forward. I'd say the next game, if he doesn't produce, let's switch it up. Let's get some brand new lines.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at what the Charm Diamond Centers YouTube chat is saying. Charm Diamond Centers is proudly Canadian owned and operated through 1972 with over 85 locations across the country through the Charm Diamond sister brands. Custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks. The Charm Diamond Master Center program and unbeatable pricing policy. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. 1 second. Got a quick cough there, Aaron. My apologies for
Buddy,
that.
I'll cover you up. I'll cover you up. I'm pulling for me and Sean to see.
Dackie's saying, longest leash for Perry tonight. Let the worm. Do you think we've seen enough of the worm factor of it? I mean, we saw that one thing with Brock Besser, which was arguably the strangest thing I've ever seen on a hockey rink in my life, to be honest. But it is what it is. But do we need to see more from that from Perry? But I guess in the same breath, like, we just haven't seen that at all in this any of the Oilers series. Like, even Vancouver, like, yes, it was the occasional battle in LA. There was I think it was whatever the 1-0 game was, game 4. It got a little physical. Maybe it was a 6-1 game, but like,
besides Nikita Zadorov, there hasn't been much hate these playoffs.
That's it. Like, they bullied Miller a little bit, but allowing the worm to worm, the game kind of has to go that way, right?
I would like to bring up a different kind of view. Do you remember last season when things kind of got out of hand with Vegas? Like, Kane's just pounding someone on the ground.
Oh yeah, there was a great angle.
Yeah, and Nurse challenged Nicholas Hague, got suspended. I think I'm wondering if they're trying to even not get to that point and try to win games without getting wormy. I would love to see them get a little bit more wormy for sure. But
yeah, that's such a good point, because the Oilers, yes, have those guys who can be that pass, like Carrick, Kane, Nurse, Vinny if he's in the lineup, but they are pure skill. And I found sometimes through this playoffs, the reason the Oilers have lost games is because they kind of forget they are this pure skilled hockey team that can go out and score 4 or 5 goals. And instead they've just tried to like shut down the other team. And it's like, oh yeah, then we've just allowed them to score 2 goals because we're refusing to cross the red line with the puck anymore. So stuff like that. Sam Squash 67 said, let Perry do the worm. Something we haven't considered at all. Maybe that could be the key. Imagine it's like another Marvel reference, Guardians of the Galaxy, when I can't remember his actual name on the show, but Chris what's his name, Chris Pratt starts dancing. Does it Star-Lord, yeah, does it
kind of throw the opponents off their game,
face off, the power play's not going that well, all of a sudden you throw Corey Perry out in front instead of Hyman. He starts doing a worm in front of Ottinger.
Buddy, that's the kind of shit I'm looking for.
Kind of like Sean Avery when he's waving the stick. Why doesn't Corey Perry do the worm?
For my thing with Corey Perry is I need more wormy stuff, because that is what he does. If he can't bring the boots and he can't be, you're only going to play 11 minutes a night. I need you to do that greaseball shit. Now, this series hasn't had that kind of aspect to it, which I do think to an extent kind of leads into Dallas's favor, but both teams are offensive skill teams that don't necessarily need to get into it. I just think the more this series is going to move along, it's going to be those kinds of wormy things like you saw on that first goal with the redemption goal there from those 3 guys. And the thing with Perry, and I think it'll be the McLeod effect on McLeod, drag him into the fight.
Yes.
You got to drag him in there. He brings it to the front of the net. I've never seen McLeod more in front of the net as he plays the wing, which I mean, doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense, but it was working. And I like the influence that the worm has. And lineup wise for me, I'm starting with the line the same way, but I'm just going to swap Perry and Holloway depending how you're going. Is it more run and gun? What does Still and Holloway look like right now? And you can tinker with those guys. I think I'm leaving Kaner with Rico. Just better in third line.
That makes sense.
Someone said that in the chat too. Is like maybe, oh, there it is. Joel said it. No Perry on the third line. You need the speed of Holloway with Kane and Rico. That would kind of slow down that line. But what you could also do if you want to get creative with it is Connor Brown's been playing fantastic. Like, you really can throw that guy up and down the lineup. And if hypothetically you didn't want to move that speed away from Evander Kane and Adam Henrique, you could elevate Connor Brown. I know he's not an elite speed guy, but just the way he's been playing has been great. Yeah, there you go, Joel. No swap Brown and Perry. That fourth line has been outstanding for probably about 6 games now. I would actually say since game 5 versus Vancouver. Like, how surprised are you at what the depth has been able to do for this team? And here's a little fun fact for you. You won't find this in Gregor's game notes. This is Liam's game notes. The Oilers have got goals from a fourth liner in 4 games in the playoffs so far. The last game, game 4, was the first time one of the Oilers' star players has also scored in that game, and the Oilers have won. Wow. So you had the Holloway one. Then Yaremchuk, that's his second goal. Connor Brown got one in game 2 in the last night. I'm pretty sure that's fair, right?
That's pretty impressive, or an interesting stat there.
Yeah, not like everyone talks about like this Dallas Stars depth and everything, but the Oilers' depth has really shown up. And at the start of the series, people were talking about how it was the defense that was kind of coming through with goals, and we're still getting that. Obviously, Bouchard had a big goal last game. Ekholm got the empty net goal as well, but it does feel like this series has kind of been like, okay, Henrique got a big goal in game 3 in his return. Connor Brown had one in game 2. The Stars showed up in game 1, but last game, Yaremchuk and just this penalty kill in general is just added so much to this team, a layer that I don't think anybody expected. But is there anything in particular you're seeing from that fourth line that's working right now? That's working.
I think they're clicking. They're working hard. I'm not surprised. Effort. Yeah. I'm not surprised. Like, a lot of people hate on Yaremchuk, but he's just, what do you guys think about this? If he could score from distance, I feel he could be like a top 6 player. Like, if he could. He's a smart guy. He's a smart player. And Brown, I think this kind of gets overlooked. He was with the Ottawa Senators. He was a top 6 player. He had an injury. I'm not surprised on how well they're clicking right now.
Yeah, like that's the thing with Brown, isn't it? Like, we all sit here and judge how he's done this season, and even he'll say he's not had a good year. Obviously, like, he scored 4 or 5 goals, whatever it was. Yeah. He's almost halfway there in the playoffs and what he's done. But like, when you only play 4 games a season prior and it's tore his ACL, right? Like, it does take a while for you to kind of get back in motion. Yep. I think it took a lot longer than he expected it to happen, but not to get too far into like off-season talk here, but like, Yaremchuk and Brown are both UFAs at the end of the year. You look at those 2 guys, and then you look at 2 guys who are sat in the press box right now, in Vinny and Fogle. Hey, if Yaremchuk and Brown are like, hey, we'll both come back for $1 million, would you do it?
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. Lifetime deals according to Chase.
That feels like a bit much. A bit much. But let's get into the lineup report brought to you by Wendy's. I'm very excited to read this ad read after Tyler read it yesterday. Frozen pucks are awesome when they're in the back of the other guy's net, but that doesn't mean you'd want to eat one. You're not wrong, Wendy's. That's why Wendy's only ever use fresh Canadian beef that's never seen the inside of a freezer in all of their burgers. Whenever you order a Baconator, a Dave Single, or even a JBC, you'll only ever find real fresh beef that's real juicy and loaded with fresh toppings. So download the Wendy's app today and check out the latest deals and order burgers that's only job is being delicious. What an easy job, being delicious. I mean, they're not wrong. Do you Wendy's guys, Sean?
I mean, when you said Baconator, I just got hungry.
I know. So. My mouth does more every time we have
JBC's. Get a side of chili? Like, where else can you get a side of chili?
The taco salad?
Exceptional value.
That is a true value menu. You go to some of these other places, it ain't the same as what you can get there. Also, they don't mention it there. A good Frosty. On a day like today, maybe not so great, but you can just
Liam, I got a Frosty last night.
It's amazing. Wendy's. And I'm pretty sure you can get lemonade at Wendy's. Don't quote me on that. Yeah. But I do love a good glass of lemonade. But obviously, the big headline heading into tonight's game, a lot of people saw the picture on Twitter last night, or X, my apologies. Chris Tanev in a walking boot. Pete DeBoer said today he's optimistic he's going to play. They've also told Leon Bichelle, I believe that's how you say his name, to be prepared for the game tonight, because if Tanev can't go, he'll be the one that comes into the lineup. But what do you make of this whole Tanev thing? I think one thing that wasn't considered yesterday when he was in a walking boot is that he wasn't on crutches. Right. So if you can kind of walk in it, like, I've never been in a walking boot, so I don't know what it's like. I would imagine even if you had a broken foot, it would still be pretty painful to walk on. So what do you kind of make of this whole situation?
If Tanev is in fact in the lineup tonight, if I'm the Oilers, not only am I coming out hitting, especially him, but right off the drop of the puck, I would start taking low clappers. If he's going to stand in front of there, so be it. Take low clappers, and then even by the second period, fake the clappers, and then he'll probably freeze up, go around him. So we'll see.
Yeah, you kind of dump couple of pucks in his corner.
Exactly.
Get in there hard, heavy.
Get him shoulder checking. Get him get in his head. Also, Liam, I am a man who's broken his foot before. Man. Well, yes. 2 things can be true. I broke my foot before as well. The fact that he's not on crutches to me says a lot. And I also said to you this morning, Chris Tanev's other level of hockey playoff type player.
Yeah.
Look at that guy right there. Does he look like he's in pain, discomfort?
It's on his phone.
I fully expect that guy to
He's
play
just
tonight
probably like, I hope
get in shooting lanes and eat pucks even more. But I like your thought. Low clappers.
He's
thinking about it.
He's looking for a Wendy's on his phone. He just downloaded the Wendy's app. He's like, where is this place? I can't find it. I need a Baconator for tomorrow. I got to heal up. But yeah, I mean, can you zoom in fully on that picture, Aaron?
I can just make it.
He's probably like, I hope
screen?
this doesn't surface this picture right now.
Yeah, and he's just like, look at him. He's just like, doesn't look uncomfortable at all. Again,
Just a precaution.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, the fact he didn't come back from into that game is obviously something. He's clearly not 100% healthy, but also it kind of looked like more of a calf thing than necessarily like a foot thing, right? So like that's not exactly a protected area when you're playing hockey, evidently, by this guy walking around in a boot. So I'd be very curious to see like what kind of Tanev we get tonight. But what this probably does a little bit is does give Ryan Suter a few more minutes, I would think. So that's an area the Oilers should be trying to expose. And even if Tanev is playing, like this third pairing, I don't get it. Like, I don't know how this is a third pairing that people are just like not questioning outside of this market. Like, we're looking at it and being like, we remember Petrovic, and he like supposedly a great guy. We'll never doubt his character.
Fun fact: I played on his ball hockey team.
Is he a great guy?
He was a beauty on the blue line.
There you go.
Better guy than hockey player, maybe.
But he's played one game in the NHL in the regular season prior to this, and people were questioning the Oilers putting in Philip Broberg. So what do you think? Like, that's clearly an area of weakness, right?
At this point, game 5, the Oilers forward should be feasting on that third pairing.
Yeah, if they can get the opportunity.
Like it's like they're baconators, just
company man.
Imagine Ryan Suter as a baconator. Bo said, I think Tanev is in. He will not play the same. Maybe this helps you with his power play.
Absolutely. Tanev has blocked some big shots on the power play or the Pelican.
He's a great player. He's a very good player. The other news coming out of morning skate today from the Oilers was that everything's the same. Besides Derek Ryan, who will not be in the lineup tonight, it's looking like Sam Carrick will check back in. There isn't a ton of difference between these two players, but one thing that is notable that Carrick brings that Ryan doesn't is the physicality. And I think that's going into Dallas, especially again, when you have a Chris Tanev who's banged up and maybe you want to hit him a little harder. Sam Carrick's probably the guy you want to be able to do that, right?
Absolutely. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was game 3 when Ryan Suter delay of game penalty.
Yes.
It's because he saw Sam Carrick bearing down on him and he panicked and he flipped it out. So absolutely brings that physicality.
Have you been happy with Sam Carrick? And it's been a really weird playoffs for him because he started against LA, wasn't very good. Had that long stretch out, and then comes back, and to his credit, he's done pretty well.
Yeah. Bordsy, what do you think?
I think he's been everything you expect a Sam Carrick to be. He was brought in to be a 13th forward on this team, and that's exactly what he's been. Brings in energy, but he's very strong on the draw. Right. And he's right-handed. So guys like, is he right-handed? Yeah. So guys like that don't grow off trees on this team. I do think, and I've loved DR, but they're both 13th forwards. I'm okay with you ride one guy for 2 games while he's hot, because honestly, both of them have been good for stretches. Then kind of tails off a little bit. And my new deal, Liam, after my reaction on pre-gaming when I saw Perry on the second line, I did not believe whatsoever. I was like, you're going fast with McLeod, but you're going slow with Perry. My new rule, I'm never doubting Chris Knobloch again because, dude, he's batting 1,000 right now. Yeah. So Carrick in, let's ride.
He really hasn't made one bad decision. Like, everything that he's done has worked out. Like, even the fact that Calvin Pickett played 2 games, and I know he lost the second game, but that wasn't the reason they lost the game. Like, are you in the same boat? Like, you're not questioning what he's doing.
No, I can't question him anymore. I even wrote like an article like of the 5 best bold moves that he made. And I will say maybe the one decision he didn't make was reuniting that near CC pairing.
That is the craziest thing I've ever seen.
But then like just like Stuart Skinner, Knobloch's decisions bounce back too. So
JP made a good point. The goalie pull in game 2.
Yeah,
that was a weird one. I give him a little bit of.
Okay, maybe he's not betting 1,000.
Yeah, but 999.
It's pretty damn good.
Go.
I like this one from Camus. He says, "I love when Jim from The Office is here."
It's so funny. All my friends had to show me that episode, and I was just dying laughing. Hey, it's me.
In this series so far for Derek Ryan, he has played 31 minutes at 5-on-5. He is the lowest amount of minutes for a player that's played every game so far in this series. He's getting outscoring chance 13-9 and has not been on the ice for a goal 4 yet for the Oilers, but has been on the ice for 4 goals against. So again, I think you get the best of Derek Ryan after you give him some time off. He can kind of come back in, give him some more juice to get back out there and do well. Because like the one thing he brings is he has a ton of face-off wins.
Yes.
And that is something that the Oilers have struggled at in certain areas here. But is there anything else you would have changed about the lineup tonight? Are you happy that Vinny's still out of the lineup? Do you think that 6 deserves to still be there?
I think I come from the school of thought that roll with the lineup that won you the last game. Whether it's going to be the same after this game, who knows? But Broberg played a pretty low event game, but that's kind of what you want out of your third pairing, right? Like very low event. He skated good, quick passes. I like Vinny. I'm a Vinny fan. Maybe after this game, maybe he just, you know what? Maybe just like Perry, maybe he just needed a seat too. You know, you're battling for like 3 weeks straight. He's like, technically, isn't he still like his second year in the NHL?
He is second year in the NHL.
Just needed a break.
I believe he's 1 year younger than Darnell Nurse, which is funny.
Yeah,
do you remember when that got brought up? So, what do you make of the young guy? He's like, well, I think he's about like 8 months younger than me. So I don't think too much different. But Broberg, 14 minutes, just over 14 minutes of ice time. Wasn't on the ice for or against for a goal. And that's kind of what you want. I think the great thing I saw from Fogle was he was using his feet way more than I feel like we've seen him. And he had the confidence of like, I've got the puck. Now I'm going to make a play quickly. Like he just seemed to make the right decisions consistently. And when he's been up, I'm a Broberg believer. I think the organization screwed him, similar to what they did with Holloway. They've now amended that, and both those guys have come into the lineup and done well for them. Like we look at this Dallas team, and it's like Wyatt Johnson, Stankover, and all of them, right? Like Jason Robinson, Hintz. I know a few of them are a bit older now, but it's like Dallas gave those guys some time, and they've done well. And the others have got good games from Holloway. I don't think they've had a bad game from Holloway yet. At least it's been just kind of like non-event, like you said. So I think if the organization keep trending in this way, then things are going to be good for them. Someone made a comment in here. I think it was Alex Garrison. Tanev is like a Komodo dragon in a fight to the death with a fully incapable of processing pain if he's in it. He'll be fine.
Fair assessment.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
That's pretty dead on
Alex Garrison.
For me, Liam, I'm a believer as well, Sean. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Granted, I guess Carrick in for Ryan's tinkering with it. Yeah. But hashtag in Nobby we trust. I liked what I saw from Philip Broberg. You mentioned, dude, third pairing, you play 14 minutes. You don't have anything go. He was zeros across the board. Yeah. I will take that every single night. If Cody Ceci wants to give me that as a third pair, I'll take it. I do think Vinny needs to come back in eventually. I was a little concerned about the penalty kill without Vinny because you can't replace size like that in front of the net and eats pucks. But overall, the Oilers PK, buddy, they're +1 in the last game. So if anything on aggregate, they're doing even better without him. I do think eventually he'll come in. I was surprised that it was Vinny and not Cece that came out. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let it keep riding.
I think that was a pure skating thing.
Yeah.
Like I really
and that's Broberg brings, buddy. That's what he.
Yeah.
There was one play where the puck was going into the star zone. I think it was in the second period. I'm like, who's chasing that? I'm like, oh, it's Broberg.
Yeah. And then he got it and turned it around, right? Like he did that a few times throughout the game. I have a Sherwood 4 Giant question for you, Sean.
Yes.
It's a good one.
It's a fun one. So here's my Sherwood 4 Giant question for you. Who is one alumni? So the Oilers keep bringing back all these alumni to come to the Moss Pit, come into the ring, get everyone fired up. Who is one guy you want them to see bring back? Because we've seen the Gator now twice. I think we've seen who we had Smith, LaRock, Cassian, Torres, Costin. Everyone is kind of legend. Is there one guy you want to see? I want this guy back in my ring? Let me know in the chat.
Yaroslav Spacek.
Oh,
people would be like, who that? Who that guy? But I love him. He was a beauty in 06 for sure.
Not what I expected.
I got a couple. One for me that's absolutely legendary. It's Todd Marchand.
Yeah.
He scored a Game 7 breakaway winner. That guy. Now, I do think, like Waz mentioned, they ran into Jason Smith in the moss pit, and he's like, half the young people out there had no idea who that was. So I'm like, I don't know but in the building, they'll know who Todd Marchand is. Totally. And that will be unreal. My, I guess, wild card from 06, give me Sergei Samsonov. Yeah. I was a big Sergei Samsonov guy. Huge fan.
Me too.
So I'll tell you what the chat's saying. I'll tell you
There's
what
an obvious one then.
So Travis is saying Messier. FICO saying Alex Hemsky. A few people said him. I think Hemsky came back already.
I think he did.
I think they did.
In Fan Park and stuff.
Yeah, they did. They did do that. Pronga, that would be interesting. Ryan Smith, of course, would be a great one to have back in the building.
He's been in the building this playoff run, right?
Did he?
He's been back within the last couple
Let me know,
months.
Chad. Let me know.
I can't remember.
Doug Waite not Doug Waite, surprisingly, from Chris Ulanov, another one that seems to be out there. Wayne Gretzky, of course, that would be fantastic.
Cup final, we'll get him.
Yeah. Chris Russell. I don't know if that would have the same hype as what other guys could have. Jared Stahl just went back.
He did.
Gazdick. I feel like if the Oilers get further, we might get a couple of these, like,
Pisani.
broadcasters
Carter.
back.
TNT, baby.
Ace.
Yeah, Ace. I have an autograph from him, and it's signed Ace.
That is the lamest nickname ever.
Fernando Pisani, right? I see that in there.
I like this one from Ryan S. Mike Smith would be kind of fun. Yeah. I feel like he's a guy that would get people fired up.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny.
If he took his shirt off and pumped up the crowd, that would be incredible.
Davin said Paul Cuff. Oh wait, never mind. One thing I was brought up yesterday, and I slept on this one. So we had DJ Bean on the show yesterday from What Chaos, and he was talking about how Ottinger hasn't been this like superstar goaler that everyone expects. And when you actually look back at the numbers, Skinner and Ottinger were very much like similar numbers throughout the regular season. Ottinger actually struggled for large portions of the season, from what I remember. And this playoffs, I think, has shown that like Skinner isn't as far away from that kind of standard as people may want to give him, no credit for, I guess. And it made me think back to when the Oilers had Mike Smith. He was actually pretty good. The numbers were solid with him. Like, do you think, and maybe I just want to ask this, do the Oilers have like that stigma where it's like they don't have goalies or defense? It feels that way from like when you talk to people from outside. It's like they have no depth. They just have McDavid. Defense doesn't exist, and their goalies suck.
I think people just focus on that so much.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'd agree with that. That makes sense.
I think to an extent that's kind of justified from what has been the history of the Edmonton Oilers the last 10 to 15 years. I also think because the offense is so elite and you have the greatest player in the world, you have to nitpick something.
Yes.
So yes, because the offense is all the way up here, yes, but this year you'd argue, no, you can't make the right. The defense has been incredible. And say whatever you want about Stuart Skinner in these playoffs. I get it. He has been a number one goalie all year. I argue my number is top 12 in the NHL. That's an off-season thing. We can go through our goalie rankings individually, but I don't think that's applicable this season. You have scoring on the back end. Evan Bouchard, Matthias Ekholm's a beast. Darnell, whatever you want to say, he has had good stretches this year. And Stuart Skinner's been doing it. And you now have the deepest forward group we've ever had in the McDavid era. This team comes at you from all angles.
Up until the All-Star game, Nurse was really, really good.
Dude, and then it fell apart.
And then it really dipped. Yeah, the Skinner debate, I like it. We'll have to debate that one through the off season. What are people saying here? People is Rusty the Reckless Optimist says, yes, Liam. People who don't watch this team consistently think we are only a two-man team. Calvin Pickard said, yes, we are the oh wait, that was the wrong one. Said offense, no D. I don't know what the first one meant, but it's just interesting. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to go to the fun part of the show.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
The part that Tyler only lets me do occasionally and never consistently. We're going to play Liam's game, Sean. Right. Brought to you by the Edmonton Stingers. Stingers basketball returns for its sixth season in the CBL. I believe they're now 3-0.
CEBL.
CEBL, my apologies.
Elite, brother.
Elite. Yes, they are elite. There's a ton of things going on down there. Great deals too. Tickets start at just $20. Parking is free. Plus, $5 food and beer menu. For tickets, go to stingers.ca. So we're going to play Liam's game, Sean. Are you familiar with the rules?
No.
Shocker.
He has to whisper it to you. That's the key. Can't say it in the mic.
Okay. So I can tell you the rules not through the mics. Other people have to listen to. So we have 2 boards that'll pop up, and you have to guess the Oiler. Okay. So the Oilers start from the year 2000 to today.
Okay.
So the first one is an easy one. The second one is a hard one. So what people, you won't get to do this, unfortunately. But people, if you're in the chat, put your guesses in. The first person to guess the easy one gets put into the draw. And then the next 3 people to guess the hard one go into a draw to win $25 to Nation Game. However, there is a twist to this as well.
Today we're going big.
And I'm just going to read the text directly from Tyler so that I do not get in trouble if I do anything. So he says, tomorrow on Liam's game, the winner of the draw can get $25 to Nation Gear. And if any of the finalists, so that would be the 4 people who we put into the draw, won 2 tickets to a Stingers game, they can also email Tyler and he'll do a draw for them. So if you're a winner, email Tyler and then you can get put into another draw. I don't know when we're going to do that draw to get 2 tickets to a Stingers game. Sound good?
Stakes are high.
Okay. So the first one, Aaron, let's swing up the first one.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. I am a former. Oh, is it come up?
Yep.
Okay. I am a former first-round pick from the mid-90s. I played for 6 NHL teams, playing just shy of 800 games. I was not a member of the 2006 Cup run, but played with many of those players. He played the majority of his games with Edmonton. His last season was in 2013 with an Eastern Conference team. So you can, I don't know how we're going to make you guess yet, but we'll let you make the guess once we get the answer in the chat.
It's like negotiating. He'll write it on a piece of paper and slide it across the table.
No one's got it in the chat yet. Mike Pecker, no. He was obviously on that team. Jason Arnott, no, but not a bad guess. Joffrey Loophole. Hawkoff, of course, played on the 06 Cup run. You may remember that. Hemsky also he was not a member of the 06 Cup run.
That says not a member.
Not a member. Dustin Penner, good guess, but also no. Oh, we do have it in the chat.
That's what I was gonna.
You think Kevin?
No, yeah, that would have been my guess.
So what's your guess?
I was gonna say Reasoner, and the reason why is because he just got traded before the 06 playoff run.
He got traded to the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
Do you know in that deal? And I look, so the answer, the answer is Marty Reasoner. Yes,
I was on the edge of my seat.
That's who I was gonna guess, but I didn't say, yeah.
So the answer is Marty Reasoner. And did you know he was involved in a trade that ended up being the pick for Milan Lucic?
That's right.
Well, so he was traded from Edmonton with Jan Stastny and the 2nd round pick in 2006, which was Milan Lucic. So the Boston Bruins for. Anyone know? Sergei Samsonov.
That's right.
Was the trade.
The guy we're bringing back.
The guy we're bringing back.
Full circle.
There you go.
Nice.
So there you go. Fun little fact on Leon's game again. Okay.
He's great.
Second one.
Now we're getting hard. Wait. Pause.
Now we're getting.
Pause.
Say that again. Okay.
Here's the difficult one.
Hold on. I got to get my things here.
Yeah, I'll read it out.
I got it.
Game. Oh, you got it?
I am a former 2nd round pick. I'm in my early 30s, but no longer play in the NHL. I played 221 NHL games for 4 different teams. I only played 1 season in Edmonton, but never scored a goal. I am a European forward.
I know it.
No, it is not. I know. Like clues are there, make it seem like it might be him.
Yeah, I thought there was one.
No, it is not the most obvious one.
Yeah, that's what's in the chat.
Oh, okay, former 2nd round pick.
Former 2nd round. I think Tobias Reeder was a 4th round pick.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know if he played. He might have played for more than 4 different teams. Her in Alberta and pool party. Not quite. Nygaard only played for 1 NHL team, and it was the Oilers.
That never scored it. Played 1 season in Everton, never scored a goal for the Oilers.
Yeah, never scored for the Oilers. Not Gaetan Haas. Colby Cave scored for the Oilers.
I guess scored 2 goals. Damn it.
This one might take a while.
This is a good question. I would have got it wrong.
Pontus Aberg. No. Dominic Cahoon by Blaine Gleason was a guess.
So
no.
he never scored a goal in Edmonton?
In Edmonton.
Just in Edmonton.
Let's see how many NHL
Are you able to reveal who drafted him?
An Eastern Conference team drafted it. Oh, actually, yeah, an Eastern Conference team drafted him.
So not an Oilers pick.
This game's so frustrating.
I know. The answer, Pontus Aberg, no. Magnus Payavi Spencer, he did score goals. This guy scored 22 goals in his NHL career. To start his career, he's like actually a pretty good American League player. Played in the Q. I think he might have been a Memorial Cup winner. That could be wrong. No, definitely not a Memorial Cup winner. Nikita Nikia, no. Mark Occabello, no. He scored. This guy played one season for the Oilers. If no one gets it within the next 2 minutes, I will reveal the team that drafted him. Connor McDavid, Mike Camilleri, no.
Dude, if you wanted to fill time, you just make a hard question.
I know. I got an hour and a half to fill today, folks. Ryan Spooner, no. Olmark, no.
Bill Cosby? What?
Nope, not Bill. Okay, he was drafted by the Detroit Red Wings, who actually at the time I think would have been a Western Conference team.
Oh man.
Not me Googling Detroit Red Wings second
No.
round draft.
Red Wings.
So he still plays in the KHL in Belarus, I think that is actually. Not Ryan Spooner, not Timu Hartikainen. God, I thought this might. Ken Holland drafted him.
I don't want you to say it. We've gone so
did
far.
Someone say it already or no?
No one said it. Oh, one person said it. One person said it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Jeez.
Okay, we got a second person who said it.
I don't know how I didn't know that. That's a good
Okay, we got.
one.
There we go.
There it is.
Thomas Yurko.
I thought that guy was gonna have a huge season.
I know. Do you remember he had I think didn't he have a great preseason
Yeah,
or
he had a
something
good
like that?
preseason. Yeah.
Yeah, so Thomas Urko, second round
Good
pick by
guess.
Detroit. He was the first round. He's 2011. Who went first overall that year? Any guesses?
2011. Nuji.
Nuge went first overall. My laptop just crashed.
Beautiful.
Can you get the
still going
names
over
in the
it?
Wheel of Fortune for me? It was Andrew.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah.
We'll be right back. We're still live,
Okay.
but my laptop just sucks.
Fair enough.
If anyone knows what's wrong with my MacBook, please let me know. Andrew got one. Kevin, Andrew E.
Okay.
And
Andrew E.
Adaki.
Dacky.
Which ones do you have?
Andrew E. and Dacky.
Oh, Kevin.
Kevin.
And then Andrew R.
Bum ba da bum. Let's.
So this is for 20. Just to clarify, the winner of this wins the $25 gift card to Nation Gear. If you want to continue to be in the draw, you can email Tyler at thenationnetwork.com, N, and that'll get you into a draw to win 2 tickets to the Edmonton Stingers. I don't know what game yet. Maybe that can be determined then.
Talk about producing on the fly.
No kidding. I knew this was going to happen.
Let's
Right when I needed it the most.
go. Kevin. Congratulations, Kevin.
You're the best, Kevin. So you can email Tyler. Is that applause?
Yeah.
From you?
No, it's from the.
From the thing? That really threw me off.
Yay,
Yeah,
Kevin.
way to go, Kevin. You can email Tyler at thenationnetwork.com, N. Andrew and Dacky, the Andrews and Dacky and Kevin. If you want to be in the draw for the Stingers tickets, email Tyler saying, I would like the Stingers tickets.
Tyler at thenationnetwork.com. There's 2 N's. It looks
2
weird.
N's.
Send it anyways.
Yes, send that anyways. Okay, let's move on to our. Well, what did you think of the Liam's game? That one, I will admit, was incredibly difficult. Arguably the hardest since I made Tyler try and guess the Cody Ceci.
I think that was a good game.
I think that might be the hardest one you've ever given.
I think so.
I forgot Thomas Yurko was a human being.
I really needed to fill.
How many?
time.
Do you know how many regular season games he played? Did he play any regular season?
Yeah, he played 22.
Trace.
But I've done ones on the guys have played like 2 games and it's been guessed. So I was surprised. I thought it was going to be able
We'll
to.
never run out of random Oilers from the decades of darkness.
We never, ever will run out of random Oilers. But before you go, Sean, I need to ask you about your keys to victory, brought to you by Star Mechanical. Star Mechanical is Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating business. They have been working within the community for over 20 years, and many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. They offer 24-hour emergency service too. Visit them at starmechanical.ca to schedule an appointment and let them help keep running your home running smoothly. Unlike the back end of that ad read. There you go. Sean, what is your key to victory tonight as the Oilers look to regain the series lead over the Dallas Stars and come home up 3-2?
The Oilers got to, we were talking about it, but bring a full 60. And if they come out hot, do not take your foot off the gas pedal. Bring it to the Stars. I think last game, they threw a couple pucks off the pads off Ottinger. Do the same thing. Throw the pucks on net, pick up the rebounds, get to the hard areas, and you'll likely secure a W if you could do that. So,
yeah, I think the interesting part about all of this is the lack of success Dallas has had on home ice. Like, it seems really weird to say, but the Oilers almost have an advantage here because they get to go to Dallas twice.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I believe they're 4-5 in the playoffs so far on home ice. So my key to victory is going to be similar to you. Like, I think what Darnell Nurse did last game, I know 12 hits is a total that he's probably not going to be able to hit. So he only had 11 hits in the last series against the Vancouver Canucks, and now he's been able to have 12 in one game. But like, just that physicality seems to really throw the Stars off a little bit. And I don't think that's the game they want to play. They obviously have a lot of skilled guys. Like, and was it Luke Gazik or Jason Demers, I think, came on there the other day and said a guy like Jason Robinson's pretty soft if you're willing to go in.
Soft as a marshmallow.
Is that what he said? If you're willing to go in there and battle it out with him, like, you're probably going to come out and win that battle. So I want to see that physicality from Edmonton, but also play quickly with the puck. I think that's one thing Dallas likes to do is like fly the zone, right, and try and get guys gone. Like that, I think that's why Broberg was kind of put in there too. So like, see if you can kind of counter that on them, because it's not like Heiskanen, Harley, both very good skaters, Lindell as well for sure, but like, the other three aren't exactly flying around the ice, are they?
No. One thing I gotta say, watch out for Dallas's stretch pass. How many breakaways have they had this series? Watch out for their stretch pass.
They just walk that blue line and you forget they're even there. There's a couple times I saw Dodonov and I was like, is that dude just hanging out behind the camera angle down there?
What is your key to victory, Aaron?
For me, I got a couple. I saw somebody in here and they said, let Dallas score first. Strong points so far in this series. For me, it's the traffic in front of the net. Jake Ottinger, while a good playoff goaltender, he is human, and we've seen when there's trouble in front, he's like every goaltender ever. You put traffic in front, they're more likely to struggle. But I'm still a little burned by game 3, where basically 3 of the 4 goals where you could not get the puck out of your own end. Right. I am still in that mindset. I know game 4 was good. Simple breakouts, get the puck out, put it out in the neutral zone, deal with it then. And I like your point about the stretch pass because, dude, they send that puck all over the ice. They are up the ice so fast again. I like Broberg's speed there. That's a good call, Liam.
A couple of comments from the Charm Diamond chat, right? Charm Diamond sent us chat right now from Dacky. Treat it like an elimination game, Mr. Burns. Keep up the intensity. What else have we got here from Ryan Jones? Maybe it's him.
Ryan Jones.
One guy who I would like him to come back.
Yeah. He was a fan favorite.
A true fan favorite. I'll never forget his hat trick. That was amazing. He said, play a full 60. Don't let the Stars behind up. I don't get that. But 60 minutes. What else have we got here?
I like
everything from JP.
Set the tone.
Bingo, bango, mongo. Jeffrey Taylor also says, win battles in the corner. Sergeant Battle. Stars are cherry picking merchants. Well, we're PK merchants. So there you go. All right. Anything else, Sean? Anything else you want to tell the people before we let you ride away into the sunset?
Who are the Oilers going to play in the Stanley Cup final?
Well, give us your prediction for tonight before we get to that.
No. I'm putting words.
I'm going to say a 3-2 Oilers win. 3-2 Oilers win.
Can you give me one anytime goal scorer?
One. What do you mean? Like
one person who's going to score tonight for the Oilers, not Dallas, because I don't want to hear about
Connor Brown.
Connor Brown goal.
Connor Brown.
You think he'll extend his point streak to 4 games?
So. He's going 4 games.
Okay.
You're hot. You're hot.
Well, there you go. Thank you very much,
Thank
Sean,
you.
for joining us here today. Sean's performance. Yeah, a performance from Sean, brought to you by Douglas Mattress. I know Tyler loves his Douglas mattress, but not as much as I love my Douglas mattress. Named Canada's best mattress on Canada Living. Loved by over 200,000 Canadians, over 10,000 5-star reviews. Avoid pushy salesmen. Easy online ordering. Get Douglas delivered in a box to your doorstep with free delivery coast to coast. Order today at douglasmattress.ca. Douglas mattresses are also handcrafted in Canada. So there you go. Now it's just me and Aaron.
Hell yeah, and I can't get my camera to work, so we're just gonna stare at your face.
So it's just a one-man show. I guess we can go over some game notes from Jason Gregor here as well. He mentioned in his game notes too, like obviously we're unsure what Tanev's going to be tonight, if he'll play or if he's not going to play. But if he does, then it's likely Ryan Suter that gets elevated up the lineup, and they'll be bringing in a rookie to kind of fill in a few more minutes there too. So you can go over to Oilersnation.
I made that clip.
You made this?
No.
Oh, that one. Go over to Oilersnation.com right now to read a couple more in there from Jason Gregor. Another one I wanted to bring up, obviously, the penalty kill has been fantastic for the Oilers. 23 straight kills, which is crazy that they have more goals than the power play this
Plus
series.
1, too, brother, in those 23.
It's amazing. So it says, Edmonton has killed off 23 consecutive power plays dating back to the Vancouver series. It is the 8th longest streak in playoff history. So the longest is the St. Louis Blues in 2001. So not that long ago. Actually, 23 years ago now. That is wild. 8 games, they killed it off 34 penalties. Montreal Canadiens in 2021. 32.
So that's the bubble, right?
Games.
That was a bubble.
That was a bubble, yeah, when they went to the final out of the Canadian division. That was the bubble playoffs is, I don't want to get into it too much, but like very interesting time in playoff history that like the Canadians came out of essentially what was the West to win, to get to the final. Because who did they play again? Tampa in the final. So 2 Eastern Conference
Corey Perry
teams.
kept getting it wrong.
That's right. So the Oilers right now, like you said, 8th. They need 5 more penalty kills to get past the 2014 New York Rangers with 27. Gregor also goes into a lot of depth on
Dude, he does.
Kevin Bieksa in this one, talking about the meat comment from Bieksa and just a bunch of other things. He mentions in there how Stuart Skinner came out and spoke about when he was essentially a healthy scratch being a backup, which is an interesting way of wording being the backup, but it kind of makes sense. It was one of the ones
called it healthy scratch.
That's what he essentially worded it as, was a healthy scratch. So he says Edmonton has scored in 12 of its first 16 games so far this playoff. Scoring first is 75 of their games is great. Dallas has scored first in 58% of their games. It also says in here that the Dallas Stars were in the regular season, the Dallas Stars is the second best winning percentage when allowing the first goal, while the Oilers were 6th best. So maybe we shouldn't be shocked both teams have been able to overcome 2-goal deficits so far in this series. But it really did feel like 2 different kind of deficits, I think it's fair to say. Like that one in game 3, Dallas came back and it just was that short part of the second period. But the Oilers came back in game 4 and kind of dominated the Stars for the majority of it. Sean mentioned
52
there, like
minutes.
52
Closest
minutes,
you'll get to 60. I'll take that.
Yes, totally. Sean mentioned there that like momentum doesn't carry game to game, and it's something we've mentioned on this show many times from the Bob Father. But do you feel like a bit of momentum is on this side, the other side tonight, Aaron?
I do, but it's also take it with a grain of salt. I said to you this morning, my entire mood for the last 5.5, 6 weeks is entirely dependent on how the last game went. But it's the thing in Leon, I don't have the tweet quote in front of me, but he said, basically paraphrasing today, once again, and we believe it, when we're at our best, no one can beat us. And I do think in game 4, that's what you saw in game 6 and 7 against the Vancouver Canucks. I also think there's a level of desperation that I've seen in these games that it's, well, game 6, let's go for an example in round 2. You are literally do or die back against the wall. Game 4 going in, you're down 2-1. And if you go down 3-1 back to Dallas, pretty much over at that point. So there is a level of desperation's making them better and making them play the way that you know that they are 100% capable of doing. And it's all coming together. The thing is, we've seen in this series, they can play great one game. They can play great in one period.
Yeah.
And it won't necessarily carry over. So I feel good right now. Check in after 20 minutes downtown with me at Greta tonight, Liam.
Yeah.
Actually.
So what's the plan for Greta, Aaron? I know there's a few other things going on there that's maybe not a typical watch party, but you can go to Greta tonight. Puck drop at 6:30. I would recommend getting there at minimum an hour before. Is that probably fair to say? Like,
yeah, I would
start filtering in from 5:30 onwards to make sure you get a good seat. TVs everywhere in Greta. I believe this evening the sun is supposed to shine.
I do believe
so
as
you
well.
might be able to sneak onto the patio a little bit, see if you can beat Waz's high score in the football game of 30, which is terrible, by the way, if you've ever played the football game. But Aaron, you're down at Greta tonight. What's the plan?
It is beyond pathetic to get 30 at that game. Like, you can close your eyes and hit something, and you are more than likely to get above 30. I like you for killing just enough time right there because, Liam, check this out. Look at what they're calling it, baby. It's Boardsy's Ball and Bar Takeover. Big fans of alliteration down at Greta. I have seen a lot of that. They've been throwing Phil's phenomenal playoff pop-up parties. That's a mouthful. Where they do like $3 drinks after the game and all kinds of stuff. But tonight, pulling out the big guns, as I said, all playoffs we've been there, but we're getting crazier and crazier the more we go along. We are going to be giving out all kinds of Oilers Nation Oil Up merch. Those t-shirts you're seeing all over the place. I throw them out left, right, and center to the loudest and rowdiest people in the building. So pretty easy to walk out of there with a t-shirt. We also, of course, you get your prepaid Pink Whitney shots when the Oilers score first. And the last time, and dude, I'm pretty sure, I mean, my name's on the graphic here. I get to decide whose Bills we're burning this evening. And on the last one, it's kind of sad because it was a tie game. And I said, all right, third period, I got to get this place hype. Let's get it going. And we give the pucks out, right? So it has a number. And if that player scores at your table with your puck, you win a prize. I said, I'm hyping it up. If the next player scores and you have his puck, I'm covering your whole bill. We're covering your whole bill. Yeah. So it was insane. But unfortunately, the Oilers didn't score a goal. But I'm sure I'll be offering that one again tonight. Seats first come, first serve. Like Liam said, I'd get there an hour before, but come on in, standing room only. I'm never sitting down the entire time. So you can come hang out with me over there. And it'll be me and Pat. He'll be producing this evening. I believe I have bagged milk for Oilers Nation After Dark. Pre-gaming with Tyler. But I think he's going to be from home, but we will see. Either way, people, you know it. It's Friday night at Greta. We're in round 3, game 5. Where else would you rather be?
A lot of people are very proud of you, Aaron. Especially Calvin Pickett. Calvin Pickett said, that's awesome. Big B.
Yeah, he loves calling me Big B.
So proud. Have you met Calvin?
Oh, yeah. Signed his t-shirt. He's got a pre-gaming t-shirt, and I signed that bad boy. Hey, I love all of you, so come on down to Greta. And
yeah, go down to Greta. If you want to find me, I'll be tucked in the corner somewhere at Greta. Very antisocial.
You're the best. The last time we were at Greta and Liam was there, we have like a nice little like hole in the wall nook where I did the show from. It's a great spot, great little spot. And Liam was so beyond stressed out. He just hung out there. But you did rally cap.
I did a rally cap, and then the Oilers lost. I'm like, look, guys.
Yeah, stay home. You know,
I love going to Greta, and I love seeing everyone at Greta. But I need to go there when the stakes aren't so high because I'm the most superstitious person.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I'm not superstitious. I'm incredibly superstitious, as many people have pointed out to me over my years. Okay, we got Zach Laing.
Zach Attack is here.
I just can't open my thing. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. I'm ready now for Zach.
Boston Pizza.
Boston Pizza. It's been 30 years since the Canadian team has won hockey's ultimate prize, and for some teams, a little longer. What would it take for Canadian hockey fans to set aside their differences and work together to end this drought? Is it their team or nothing, or could they get behind a rival under the right circumstances? It's a great question, Boston Pizza.
I couldn't, but thank you, Boston Pizza.
I could not either, but thank you, Boston Pizza. And here we are with Zach Laing. Zach, how you doing?
Doing good, boys. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing pretty good over here so far. We had Sean on the show, and he made me feel a lot smarter about things. But how are you feeling tonight heading into Game 5, first of all?
I'm feeling good. Yeah. Feeling pretty good about things, honestly. It's going to be an interesting game to say the least. But you know what? I really liked the bounce back that the Oilers had in Game 4. I like the look of the lines. I like the look of the pairings. It's going to be an interesting game. We'll see what happens.
Was there something that surprised you in Game 4, good or bad, with the lineup or just the way the Oilers were playing in general?
The second line, I was really, really happy with. That was probably my biggest takeaway. I kind of nailed it on pre-gaming with Bordsy when those lines came out. No big deal or anything like that.
He
but
absolutely nailed it.
I did. I called that one. But I really like the look of that line. I think you got two big bodies in Draisaitl and Perry who are very good down low and very good at, cycling the puck and that kind of stuff. And then you've got the burner there in Ryan McLeod. And he's got the speed to be able to play well. Get up and down the ice. Hopefully my audio is a little bit better. I saw somebody in the chat saying that it wasn't. But yeah, they got the speed in McLeod to kind of get up and down the ice. So I think it's a really, really good trio here. And if Chris Tanev isn't playing tonight for the Stars, I mean, that's going to be huge for the Oilers too.
Yeah, and I think that the Tanev thing is obviously, you could probably say, the biggest story going into tonight. Like, he's such an X factor for them. We talk it so much about how deep this Dallas Stars team is, but they're already missing some guys on the blue line. Like, Hawkenpaw hasn't been playing at all. Like, obviously Petrovic is in the lineup now. Ryan Suter would essentially have to be elevated if Tanev wasn't to play, and then they were bringing in a rookie whose name's escaping me right now. But like, even if he does play, like, this is still a big weakness because he's not going to be 100% for the Stars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I thought the Oilers have done a really good job so far this series in exploiting Tanev on the ice. They've really seemed to target him with his speed, and McDavid and those guys have really managed to kind of take advantage of that matchup. So, even if Chris Tanev is in the lineup at 100%, I'm still feeling good about things. And obviously, if he's banged up like he is, I know he was seen with a walking boot in the Edmonton airport and that kind of stuff. So if he is banged up, I mean, that's just only going to play to the Oilers' benefit more.
Yeah, Chris Tanev has actually been on the ice for more 5-on-5 goals than anyone on the Dallas Stars so far in this series, with 6. And I think a key to victory, I guess, for the Oilers, like, you don't want to pick on someone who's limping around, I guess, but like, the Oilers should probably go around and pick on Chris Tanev quite a bit heading into this game and just like set him out there and see what you can do. And I wonder if that's why they've brought Sam Carrick back into the lineup too. Add that extra bit of physicality going into the opposing barn against the defenseman who, like we just said, is not going to be 100%. Like, what did you make of that call to go with Sam Carrick over Derek Ryan? Is that good or bad in your eyes?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like what Sam Carrick's done in these playoffs. His underlying numbers may not be the fanciest. He may not be getting on the score sheet, but he's such a physical presence out there. He's so hard on the puck and so good along the boards, battling for those, that I think it's been a real nice addition to the Oilers' bottom 6 and to that fourth line. Again, we look at the way Carrick, Brown, and Janmark have played together as a trio. They've looked really sharp, right? They may not be generating the offense at 5-on-5, but two of those guys in Brown and Janmark are big on the penalty kill. Carrick does a lot of good things out there on the ice. So yeah, I've got no problem with it, honestly. And I think it's probably a good thing for Derek Ryan and Carrick to kind of be coming in and out of the lineup. I mean, they're both kind of older guys, and it is playoff hockey. It can be pretty taxing on the body, right? So I think it's good to be able to keep those guys fresh and kind of cycle through them as the playoffs go on the way that the Oilers have.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, I don't think it's a sign of weakness for these guys being like, hey, man, you're going to be a healthy scratch tonight because you don't have the legs. Like, I actually think it's a really good thing that Knobloch is identifying this stuff. And like we've spoke about it already, but like the decisions he's making on a nightly basis are absolutely incredible. Bless you. But he just continues to make the right calls, and it's hard to doubt anything that he's doing with the lineup. Would you agree?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Thank you for blessing me, by the way. Those were some big sneezes that I had. It's springtime in Edmonton, and your boy's got allergies. It's not very fun. I was funny enough, I was actually talking to my dad about this last night, but it feels like everything Chris Knobloch touches right now is turning to gold when it comes to the Oilers lineup. There wasn't really a lot of tweaks in the LA series early on against Vancouver. Same sort of a thing. They kind of kept the same lineup set in. And then, the Pickard for Skinner, the Pickard for Skinner swap happened. And ever since then, it's just felt like every little lineup tweak, whether it's a guy coming in, a guy coming out, the goaltending decisions, all of that sort of stuff, it's only played out well for the Edmonton Oilers. So I've got all the confidence in the world in Knobloch and the coaching staff. I know he was talking after one of the games recently that he talks to 5 to 12 people about every single lineup decision that's made. So there's huge input that's going into these decisions from an organizational standpoint. And I think it also speaks to the depth that the Edmonton Oilers have, right? The fact that the Oilers are able to bring in Philip Broberg for Vincent Desharnais, and he looks pretty darn solid in doing so. The fact that McLeod sits out for a game, he comes back in not only on the third line, but on the second line and scores a big goal in the first period for the Oilers. I mean, it's a really, really good thing and a really good problem to have that the Oilers have so many guys that are, pretty much ready to go at any point.
I wonder who the 5 to 12 people are, and I wonder how many of them are family relatives.
He probably goes and talks to 200 hockey men about it all.
Probably, yes.
Connor McDavid better be one of those 12 people.
You would imagine the captains have some input on it too, but it's funny you mentioned like the lineup, and yes, everything that kind of is doing is great. And like I'm saying there, wondering like Warren Fogle, I don't know where he's going to slide back in. And I know if, like you said, in that LA series, they didn't make many adjustments because it wasn't exactly necessary. But like when Warren Fogle comes back into this lineup, whenever that may be, he's going to basically have to be a completely different player from what he's been so far in his playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. I think Fogle has been very solid defensively, which is what you expect and what you get from Fogle. I mean, I still think he's one of the Oilers' best defensive wingers that they have on the roster. Him and McLeod, you look at their numbers together, even in the playoffs, they've been tremendous at suppressing other teams' offense at 5-on-5. It's been a really, really big thing they've been able to do. The only problem is that they haven't really been able to provide any offense whatsoever. So Adam Henrique coming back into the lineup, I think, is a big story too for the Oilers, coming in on that third line, looking good last game with Dylan Holloway and Evander Kane. If Fogle comes in, I almost wonder if, the move is to swap Perry and Fogle again or something like that in another game or two where, you put Fogle up on that second line with Draisaitl and McLeod. And we saw these three play together during the regular season, and they were very, very good together. Like McLeod and Fogle were at their best offensively playing alongside Draisaitl. And I almost wonder too, especially for those two guys, how much of this stuff is just quality of the line mates that they've had. You look at the guys that have rotated in on that third line. It's like Derek Ryan, Connor Brown, like not really guys that are known for their offensive chops at this point in their career or this point in the season, right? So, maybe that's what you got to do. You put Fogle up on the second line again, you keep that third line of Henrique, Kane, Holloway, and you kind of let the boys go and see what happens.
Yeah, I actually don't hate that idea at all. And it's funny because you'd look at it and be like, why would the Oilers do that to Leon Draisaitl? From an outside perspective, being like, why would they give him two guys who seem like anchors? They're just going to drag him down. But the way those three play together is actually incredible. I don't exactly know what it is that they do so well. Maybe it's because like Draisaitl's also a bit of a rover as well in his own regard. So it like allows those two to play with a bit of freedom. But just to move away from the forward group, Stuart Skinner, I know he's had his moments in this series that haven't been fantastic. Then we're all going to look at that Jason Robertson goal and be like, it would have been nice if that one didn't go in. But do you think a fair statement is that he's not too far away from what Jake Ottinger has been giving Dallas either?
Absolutely. I think it's a more than fair statement at this point. I think ever since Skinner came back in for game 6 against Vancouver, he has been everything and more for this Edmonton Oilers team. He has been the Stuart Skinner that they needed all along here. I've been really impressed with his play. I don't think the numbers, the save percentage, the expected goals against, all that kind of stuff really paint a fair picture of what Skinner's game has been, because I think there's been a lot of fluky goals that have happened, a lot of really weird deflections and tips on him in this playoffs. You look back to all the luck that LA had in the first round, especially in that game too, where there was like 3 or 4 goals that were in no way, shape, or form remotely Skinner's fault. It happened against Vancouver too, I thought, in those first 3 games of that series. I mean, you take a look what happened in game 4, the first 2 goals against the game, especially the one that bounces off Darnell Nurse's ass and in. I mean, it's like, what are you going to do? Like, there's only so much that a goaltender can do. And yeah, he probably wants that Jason Robertson goal back from game 3, but I thought he had a really good performance in game 4 and was a big reason why the Oilers were kind of able to lock that game down.
Yeah, he made some big saves. Like there's one that I think it was Tyler Seguin in the first period too, where it it was very much a reaction, but he battled to make that save, and that would have made it 3-0. And basically, it could have ended the Oilers' chances at all of winning anything else, and never mind the game. So I really like that from Skinner. But I want to ask you one more question about a player, and I want to get in some betting talk with you. Darnell Nurse last game, fantastic is an overstatement, but he really bounced back, found some physicality, was involved in the attack. That's basically what we need to see from Daryl on a nightly basis, right?
Absolutely, it is. I mean, I've always been a supporter of Darnell Nurse's. I've always thought that, he's maybe taken a little bit too much heat at certain times. And I think the biggest issue throughout the last 10 years that he's been in Edmonton, like, who has he had that have been very good partners for him? He has struggled with a lot of the guys that he's played with. You think back, like, Andre Sekera was maybe the last like really good NHL defenseman that Nurse had some success with. And, Darnell Nurse was at his best when he was playing with Ethan Bear, right? Yeah. Because the thing with Ethan Bear was that he was so good at moving the puck and clearing it out of the zone that it allowed Nurse's game to kind of settle down. I think the problem that's plagued Nurse for years now, and I think it's been the case, especially with him playing alongside Cody Ceci, is that Darnell Nurse is just trying to do too much on the ice. He's always trying to cover as much ground as he possibly can. He's trying to break the puck out and trying to be the first one up the ice as a defenseman and the first one back. And he's lost in his own zone because his partners have always seemed to be kind of loose cannons defensively. So I think once his game settles down, and I think that's what we saw in game 4 of him playing with Kulak, you get the kind of performance that you get in game 4. And those are the performances that the Oilers need from Darnell Nurse. So I really like the idea of keeping Kulak with Nurse and running Philip Broberg on that third pairing for the rest of this series. Look, don't get me wrong. I like Vincent Desharnais, but he's a very one-dimensional defenseman at the end of the day. He is a defense-first defenseman who struggles to move the puck. And I think it's something that really limits what he's able to do and what the Oilers are able to do defensively. So, I think if Darnell Nurse can put in another performance tonight like he did in game 4 and continue to do so through the rest of the playoffs, I mean, the Oilers could be in a really good position here.
Yeah, they don't, like, everyone clamors for him to be that 9.25 defenseman. I think we just need to be realistic. It's like, that's just not who he is. He is evidently overpaid, but suggesting that he is a bad defenseman is wrong because he is actually pretty good. He's just struggling with confidence right now. But anyway, Zach, let's get into the fun stuff. Some betting. Let's win some money tonight, I think, with our friends over on Betway. With Betway, you can get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses. Create an account and scan the QR code on the screen and redeem your bonus. Place a bet. No minimum amount required. And if the bet loses, you will be refunded up to $200. You can then use that money to bet on your favorite sports team. This offer is only available outside of Ontario. Zach, what's your favorite play tonight?
My favorite play tonight is Evander Kane over 2.5 shots on goal. Odds are sitting at -110 tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a shooter. I think especially on that line with Henrique and Holloway is going to be relied upon to be that kind of guy. And I feel like how's his shot prop been recently? It seems like it's been consistent, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty good. He's cashed it in 8 of 16 games in the playoffs, 2 of 4 against Dallas. Both times that he cashed against Dallas were in games 1 and 2. So, maybe that's a good sign heading into tonight. But I think the Oilers need Kane to be a shooter on that line. So, I'm looking for him to get involved in the offense, even sprinkled half a unit for him to be an anytime goal scorer, plus 250. In this series so far against Dallas, he's contributed 1.75 individual expected goals in all situations, but hasn't found the back of the net yet. So he's getting scoring chances. He's getting really good looks. He's getting to the high danger areas. Just hasn't been able to cash in. So let's see if that can rebound here tonight.
Yeah, I think it feels like he's due to get something going tonight. I think more consistently. The Oilers are the underdogs on the money line over at Betway at plus 105, and Dallas favorites minus 120. But I'm going to go somewhere which the sports books never catch up on this one, Zach, and it's Ryan McLeod playing with Leon, who we've spoken about. This guy will go 40 games without a goal, but then he'll get like 3 and 4 nights. So I'm going with a Ryan McLeod plus 450. Anytime goal, playing alongside Draisaitl, Perry. So I really like that one. What do you think of that one? Are you gonna join me on that ride?
Yeah, I'll ride with that one. I was actually looking at that for one of my bets of the day. I ended up going with the Zach Hyman anytime goal instead of the Ryan McLeod sprinkle. But I like McLeod too. You're right. He's a guy who kind of scores in bunches, and his best offenses come when he's played alongside Leon Draisaitl. So hopefully that goal in Game 4 builds a little confidence for him, because plus 450, those are some pretty nice odds.
They're really good. Aaron, you got anything for us?
I got a betting question to give to the both of you, because I'm looking at Boardsy's bankroll right now. I'm not giving any picks. You have to wait till Greta for that stuff. But do I put power play points on there? Because
yeah, I don't know.
So far, I've taken them off completely. I brought it back on in the last game because I'm like, eventually something's got to go their way and they got to get one. But I'm losing money right now. I'm doing it responsibly, of course, 19 plus.
Yeah,
but I don't know, Zach, what do you think? Are the Oilers finally going to break through on the power play tonight?
Oh, it'd be nice to. I mean, the penalty kill can only score so many goals for you in the course of a series, right? So, but yeah, no, I like it. You take a look at Chris Tanev too. 31 minutes on the penalty kill so far against the Edmonton Oilers. That is second most among any Stars player, next to only Essel and Dell at 34 minutes. And then the next options up for them are kind of Thomas Harley and Ryan Suter. So, we've seen Suter have quite the struggles of his own so far in this series. I thought the Oilers have done a really good job exploiting him. Thomas Harley, he's still a young defenseman. He's a guy you can get to. I think if Tanev is banged up, well, I mean, obviously he's banged up, but, if he's as banged up as he is, then I think this is a good opportunity for the Oilers power play to take advantage. So I can't imagine Tanev's going to be moving very well out there tonight. If he dresses, I don't think he's a very mobile defenseman in the first place at this point in his career, but if his ankles, busted up or his legs busted up, I mean, yeah, that's not a pretty thing to have to play through.
I like this comment here from Ryan S. Is that PK points? I mean, hey, the PK is more goals in this series so far than the power play. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Zach. Appreciate it. And hopefully the Oilers can get that dub tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me as always, boys.
See you later.
Bye, Zach.
Bye, Zach.
Bye, Boardsy.
Zach's appearance is brought to you by Boston Pizza. Team up for the win. And if you don't want to do that, just go get some cactus guts. You can watch the game at Boston Pizza.
It's Fishbowl Friday.
It is Fishbowl Friday today. Great. I love Boston Pizza so much. Maybe I'll go there later on, actually. Not a bad idea. Got me mid-itch. Nice one, Aaron. Okay, I think we're good to pretty much wrap up the show here. Aaron, do you have any score predictions? Leave your score predictions in the chat and we'll get to them before we leave.
I gotta fill another hour of content. So you ain't getting blank for me. But no, I'll give you an anytime goal score tonight. Zach Hyman. Yeah, just a simple, what is he right now actually on Betway?
He is even money on Betway.
Boom, done. If there's a plus sign right next to his name, I'm taking Zach Hyman every step of the way. Yaremchuk going to join me on pregame and we'll be live down at Greta. I accept all challengers at skee ball specifically.
Yes.
I've also been playing a lot of Connect 4 basketball.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Liam, my jump shot is back.
You have a jump shot in Connect 4
buddy, hey, you practice how you play, okay? So you got to get starts in the calves, starts in the legs down there. But no, be a good time. Come on down to Greta. I'll see you later. And you got plenty of boardsy coming your way on this YouTube later tonight.
Plenty of boards. There's a few score predictions here. I'll read this comment from Steven first. I would also like to see PP2 get more time because the Stars look confused against PP2. I actually don't think that's the worst strategy in the world. See if you can throw them off a little bit, especially on the road. Squishies for breakfast said 5-3 Oilers tonight. Wild Boys Drift says 3-2 Oilers. Sadistic Angel says 4-1 Oilers. And then Ryan S. also in the chat says 3-2 Oilers with a Corey Perry goal. Well, let Sadistic Angel have the final comment of the day. Let's go, Oilers. Game 5 tonight. Pre-game with Boardsy starts an hour before puck drop. Down at Greta. Go to Greta. You can get a table right up until puck drop. If you don't want to, like me.
Boardsy's ball and bar takeover, baby.
Yes,
let's go.
It does not get better than that. We'll see you guys on Monday.
What is my life?
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation Every Day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit OilersNation.com.